Hey guys, I'm Jesus, welcome back. I can't believe I'm done. I'm finally done with this whole project. Thank you for everyone who participated. Kasky, Diamond Diego, Fickle Platypus, Q Swift, Cyber, Delay, Nax, Zmax, One Man Army, Shoko Crew, Just Beden, Lebesos, Oma Monster, Saucy, and Fliplip. The Imperial Esports League said they want to participate too, but right now there were some issues with them, so I'm gonna upload a video with them after if they want to. I would do a separate video for them because it's not recorded yet and I really want to finish this project first. Yeah, so finally I'm able to show it to you. I hope you enjoy it. It's way longer than expected. I thought it will be a 20 minutes video maybe, but now it's around 2 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes, I guess. It's more like a podcast interview, you know. Yeah. If you just want to see the tournament orgs, they are at the end. You can simply use the shortcut on YouTube to get to the tournament part. But now, enjoy the video. How was your experience while playing the Roller Champions closed beta?
Well, for me it was of course the first time that I played because, I joined a few weeks after the alpha and that got me sad, but I finally got to play and it was honestly what I expected and it was worth my while. I really, the wait was worth it in my opinion. I finally got to play these new additions, they seem to be great. You could feel a little powerless sometimes when you were defending, but other than that, I think it's mostly positive and it's such a beautiful game and there's really nothing like it. And yeah, it just made me happy to be able to play, and these 2 weeks were really too short. But it is what it is, and let's hope we get it back soon enough.
It's really good. Really good. You already knew the answers to that. It was really good. I loved it. There was a lot of bugs though. A lot of bugs. I think honestly my only issue was the the screen thing, the black borders and stuff that kept appearing on my screen. That was my biggest issue. It's such a distraction, but other than that, everything was perfect. I loved it to pieces.
Beim Spielen der Close Beta fand ich auf jeden Fall an sich, das Game war extrem gut gemacht. So, das, was ich aber auch direkt am Anfang an gemerkt habe, war halt, dass die Hitbox manchmal extrem schlecht war, sodass du an Bällen einfach vorbeigesprungen bist, obwohl du eigentlich direkt daneben warst. Manchmal bist du weiter weg vom Ball und kriegst ihn trotzdem in die Hand. Das war halt ein bisschen komisch. Und es gab halt generell viele Bugs an sich von Anfang an, aber ist ja Standard für eine Close Beta. Aber was ich übel geil fand, war dieser Druck, wenn dein Gegner irgendwie 2, 3 Runden gemacht hat, dann dieser Druck so scheiße, ich musste bekommen. Der war nicht schlecht. Not bad. Da war ich irgendwie komplett erstmal weg.
My experience to playing the close beta from Roller Champions was very nice. I'm not the best player in this game, but my highest rank was National 1, and I waiting for this game like since 2 years, and I was so hyped when it came out, and then it came out and I had a lot of fun, bro. It was so nice, man. I like it a lot, man. I hoping this game coming in the next month. Yeah, that's it.
So I had a lot of fun. Sometimes it was a little bit sweaty. Sometimes just trying out some stuff in custom games, which was really nice too. And I really like the daily meetings in Discord with my team or just random people to play with. And especially the tourneys were a lot of fun.
While playing the closed beta, I had a lot of fun. I meet a lot of great people. I make a lot of good friends, and I enjoy a lot just interacting with the community. It was really fun.
Also die Closed Beta war an sich ganz gut. Es gab halt viele Bugs, viele Probleme, die müssten halt noch behoben werden. Mir persönlich hat die Closed Alpha besser gefallen, weil das Ball-Carryen oder das Ballhawk-Spielen war halt einfacher. Für mich, also mir hat es halt besser gefallen. Ich finde den Playstyle besser. Aber es hat sich auf jeden Fall verändert und wie es jetzt ist, ist es halt mehr teambasierter, somit auch E-Sport-basierter.
I had a lot of fun overall. So I guess the experience for me was very good.
I had a great experience. I was sometimes raging about some bugs, but overall it was really positive.
How was your experience while watching the Roller Champions closed beta?
As an NA player, very frustrating because I wanted to play just as much as EU was playing, and I also wanted to upload content and stream. But unfortunately, Ubisoft had other plans, and although I respect their opinion, I can't say that I was very excited to not be able to play as much as I should have been able to, and it's just like very frustrating in general.
Well, it was like, you know, of course you're a little bit like pissed off that you aren't able to participate and stuff like that, but overall, I thought the closed beta went really well. I will say the gameplay I watched was much different than what I was used to. So I'm hoping that's just kind of like it'll kind of evolve over time and get to the level that I was expecting it to be at. But overall, it was pretty good.
Have you already started, or do you want to start creating Roller Champions content? If yes, how was it?
I mean, technically I've started. I streamed it. I made the YouTube video, but if I had known I was gonna like RC that much, I probably would have spent more time on it. Probably would have put a bit more effort in, because that YouTube video really was kind of like, I made it just to, because I'd been given the opportunity to do it. So I thought, okay, well, you know, they've given me the opportunity to do it, so I kind of feel like I have to do it. And you know, I'll try my best, but I feel like if I'd known that I was going to like it this much, and I was going to love the community that much, I probably would have put a lot more effort into it. But the streams have been wicked though. That's been cool.
Auf Twitch, ja, da lief es auch extrem gut. Und hat auch extrem viel Spaß gemacht, das zu streamen, weil immer neue Leute reinkamen, die das Spiel halt noch nicht hatten und gefragt hat, ja, wie bekommt man das Spiel? Und dann konnte man denen direkt weiterhelfen und so. Und ich habe es halt leider nicht so viel gestreamt, weil ich mir halt dachte, so, okay, es bockt halt, ich zock das jetzt auf jeden Fall viel, aber jetzt nicht so viel, weil der Release halt wahrscheinlich länger dauern wird, aber ist nichts Sicheres da.
Some of you probably heard of my channel. It's Saucy. I started making content 11 months ago. I made a few videos from time to time. I made contacts in the time. I talked a lot in the Discord server. So far I made videos just covering the updates and all the improvements and just talking about that a bit. But I want to move out to making gameplay and tutorials and that kind of stuff. Of course, I wasn't really qualified to do that before because one, well, I didn't have gameplay. Two, I was terrible. So I couldn't really make any tutorials because people wouldn't take me seriously. So I hope that I can get back on that backlog really fast, and that I can be on other people's stills and actually make you know, the content I want to make, like the montage I did recently. That was such a fun project for me, and I want to do more of that because these talking videos get boring. So yeah, that was it.
I was creating. I'm in two videos on YouTube with like trick shots in this, but I'm just streaming Roller Champions, and if Roller Champions coming out, I'm gonna play it and streaming it a lot because it's a nice game and I have a lot of fun with it. So I don't have content, but I gonna have content.
So I started streaming on Twitch That was a great experience too. I really liked talking with people who got interested in the game or just randomly got into the chat and asked questions. I'm not sure if I want to post videos on YouTube, but I could imagine that I would like to do that in the future. We will see.
So direkt erstellt nicht. Ich habe halt gestreamt. Na gut, kann man auch als Erstellen sehen. Ich habe halt gestreamt und ein paar Clips auf YouTube hochgeladen. Jetzt nicht direkt Videos über das Spiel gemacht, aber es kam besser an, als ich erwartet habe. Ich habe nicht wirklich erwartet, dass das viele Leute sehen. Meiner Meinung nach haben es viel gesehen und ich war ganz zufrieden damit.
I already have a Twitch channel to stream Roller Champions. Unfortunately, I couldn't stream in the closed beta because I have some problems with my PC. But I definitely want to stream Roller Champions when the game comes out.
I have made a few clips, little highlight clips of gameplay, and streamed most of my matches over on Twitch TV. Yeah, it's been a really good series of events. I've had a really good time.
Yeah, so you can actually go find my tutorials, tips, and tricks videos on my YouTube channel. And I posted a Ubisoft sponsored video about how to get speed, which is one of the most asked questions in Roller Champions to this date, because it's usually the first thing that people want to learn. So I would recommend going to check that out. And it's also on their website on Game Plan, which is, you can also find Justin's, Riley's, and Saucy's videos there as well, and they give a lot of good tips and tricks.
I was streaming during the beta, but I didn't try YouTube. I'm letting the job to Zyber, Justin, and Riley. I had more viewers on Twitch than expected. Also to watch a lobby simulator because of the queue time, but that was really cool. That was cool.
I've done a little bit. Ultimately, I kind of want to do streams, and I can't really stream if I don't have access to the game. I've made a couple videos. I made one video during the closed beta, tips and tricks, and that was basically it.
What do you like the most in the Roller Champions Closed Beta?
Am allermeisten. Ich fand das Teamplay extrem cool, wenn du mit einem kompletten Full-Team gespielt hast. Dann fand ich das Passen zwischen den Teams so die ganze Zeit dieses, so Junge, ich stehe hier hinten, pass rüber. Dann das Boost nehmen, an der Wand, hoch, runter, mit dem Boost runter und dann wieder auf der anderen Seite hoch. Oder generell das Boosten an Teammates, dass du dann so extrem schnell gewonnen bist. Dann gab es noch das Jumpen auf die Spieler, auf deine Mates, um dann die Tore zu werfen. Die Geschwindigkeit und das Tore werfen fand ich extrem gut gemacht von Roller Champions, weil eigentlich echt die Bälle genau dahin geflogen sind, wo du getroffen hast, außer du wirfst halt von Weitem weg. Also das war extrem gut gemacht.
What I like the most? That's a hard question. I mean, there's a lot of things to like. I probably... it's such a broad question, right? Because... you know, there's things from, you know, the new moves to the team play, and the thing I love the most about Roller Champions is that it's like nothing we have seen. It's completely original. They were not afraid to take risks, and it is really refreshing to see a company do that again. Like, because the gaming industry is really evolving nowadays, and Roller Champions is just one of these games that doesn't follow formulas of others, and just does their own thing. Well, they do have loot boxes and stuff, but you know, other than that, it's really different, and they wanted to do something different, and that's beautiful in my eyes. And they did a really good job in it. They made it relatively balanced. The gameplay is like super fun. Everyone that played this game, almost everyone I heard, they really enjoyed it. So and again, you're involving the community greatly, and these community managers are just so good, and they know really how to involve us, and they also actually actively listen to our feedback, which is also very hard for certain companies. So yeah, overall, the thing I love most probably is just that this this game is so unique and refreshing. That's probably why it snapped so hard, and just the competitive nature of it, and that's just something that just sticks to me.
In a Roller Champions Close Beta, I like the most. Like this game is very fast, and I like it a lot to gain speed in this game, because if you gain speed with the walls and you just going through all the enemies with like 300 kilometer per Stunde in Germany we say. It's like I like to gain speed and be the fastest of them all, you know? It's like I like this adrenaline when I go through all of these players and make the goal for my team, you know?
Cosmetics. Cosmetics. Definitely cosmetics. And I like the pass. Just the progression. It shows like the fact they've got that much progression for cosmetics and stuff like that in the beta, to me kind of shows that they're willing to like make the game last. You know, if you put that much effort into a beta, imagine what it's going to be like in a year's time with a year's worth of cosmetics and passes and, you know, create maps being created and stuff like that.
Also für mich war der E-Sport-Bereich beziehungsweise die Turniere mit Abstand das Beste, weil man einfach diese Challenge hatte, und in Ranked beziehungsweise Quick Match war es halt noch nicht so wirklich vorhanden, meiner Meinung nach.
For me, I think the tourneys were the most fun. I really liked the new mechanics too. The uppercut was such a good idea to make the game more exciting, to improve the movement, to get faster on top speed, and trying out new mechanics with this uppercut was really nice too. For example, or other mechanics trying to try out. For example, the Jesus shot or wall transfers or self passes at the wall. That was really nice too.
So for me, I think realistically, the community has been my favorite thing actually about the closed beta. Obviously, the gameplay has been really enjoyable, but just how welcoming all of the community has been really, really nice.
Definitely the tourneys. It's the thing of the game. It's the esports, and I really enjoyed because I won one time, and it was like so cool, so good.
I think the uppercut is really cool. It's kind of difficult. Like, I guess with the closed beta, I was a big fan of like all the tournaments and stuff like that. And it was exciting to see, you know, like actual tournament streams going on. So I think I guess what I like the most would probably be the custom matches. But in terms of like mechanics, I felt that I really liked watching people using the uppercut, and I found that like there were some really cool uses for it. Yeah.
I really like that additions to gameplay feels balanced. There is the new uppercut. There is no more dodging on walls to get speed. You have to use other methods. I feel like the gameplay itself is very, very close to being almost perfectly balanced. There are a couple tweaks here and there I would make from what I saw, especially with some passing mechanics as well as tackle priority. But I think we're closer than we ever have been with balancing the game.
Do you think offense and defense is balanced?
As a player that has played the alpha and the beta, I admit that the defense and offense balance has improved a lot. And with the beta, the only problem I had was having a hard time trying to tackle the player with the ball. But I think it's just because I'm bad. So I think it's really good right now, in my opinion.
That's a hard question, I think. In my opinion, it's harder to defend because if you go really fast as the ball keeper, you need to get the speed and imitate the moving of the ball keeper as a defender to block his way. And this isn't really easy. I like the speed of the game, but maybe they could boost the tackles or just work on tackles to make them a little bit different. But I'm not sure if this really fixed the problem. Maybe it's good how it is.
Ja, auf jeden Fall eigentlich. Es gab nicht viele Tricks, die der Angreifer machen könnte. Und der Defenser könnte ihn eigentlich easy holen, wenn er halt so weiß, wenn er die richtige Richtung halt errät und dann schon mal dahin dasht. Also das fand ich auf jeden Fall eigentlich ausgeglichen, muss ich sagen.
Right now, I think defense is a little more favored than offense. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because in a game that only has a score limit of 5, you want for defense to be easier than offense. And you want offense to be somewhat of a challenge, because otherwise you would have games that would end in less than a minute if offense was too good. And that's one of the main problems I think we saw in closed alpha, was that offense was too broken. And now that we have things like the uppercut and wall transfers and better tackle preferences, we see that defense is a just a bit more than offense. And I think it's in a good spot.
So I think it's decently balanced. I think that the uppercut can be kind of spammed to make defense a little overpowered at the moment. But at the same time, it's like you don't want it to be as difficult as it was during the closed alpha, where nobody's making saves. So I think it's decently balanced. I think there still needs to be a little bit of tweaking to the defensive side, but overall it's not too bad.
I think it's balanced, but the tackle is very difficult to tackle somebody if this guy is like with 100 kilometer per hour, you know, like if he's fast as hell, it's very, 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 very difficult to tackle him for me. Like it's easy to. Pros can tackle all of them, but I'm very confused with this tackle motion and all. That's just a problem. But if you find the right spot to tackle somebody, yeah, it's okay. But yeah, it's balanced. Maybe they're gonna make some changes about it, but I'm exciting what they're gonna make, or if they're gonna make some changes.
Okay, so of course I didn't play the alpha, so I don't really have any comparison. But from what I heard, the offense was way stronger in the alpha, and I feel like there's still that trend in the beta. I feel like offense is still really strong and defense can feel powerless sometimes. But I feel like we also got to remember that this game, the beta, we only played for 2 weeks. People haven't mastered everything. Like this air tackle, this roundhouse kick, those are just things that you don't master in 2 weeks. And I think we just have to give this game time to prove how balanced it is, because those tackles can be really strong if you use them right. And with 3 defenders, I think if we give this game some time, it might end up being balanced enough. And I don't think Ubisoft should should make huge differences at this point, because it feels relatively balanced right now.
God no. I think it's a lot of skill. I think it's very skill based. Like past a certain point, I think it becomes a lot more about skill based than the mechanics. Like I feel like there are some players that can take advantage of like jumping up the wall and stuff with the ball a lot more than others. Like towards the end of like when I was playing, if a player with the ball got past the second gate, I would not bother chasing them. There's no point. There's just no point chasing them, because even with the draft, you're never going to catch up to them. So you just go back to your gate. half and half?
So when I first started playing the game and I didn't have any sort of muscle memory or any experience with how tackling was going to work, I did run into a lot of tackle spam between gate 1 and 2. But I think once players start to learn more momentum and wall riding, it becomes a lot more balanced, and then defense and offense is essentially evened out, in my experience.
Ich fand, das Defenden, beziehungsweise eher der Spieler, der im Tor ist, das Uppercut spammt, das ist ja leider die Hauptsache vom Defenden, nicht mehr das Tackeln oder so. Das Uppercut spam, das war einfach viel zu strong. Das sollte man auf jeden Fall patchen oder zumindest ein bisschen gegen vorgehen, weil das war einfach viel zu stark und das macht das Spiel halt langweilig, wenn die ganze Zeit einer vorm Tor ist. Du musst dann auf eine nächste Runde gehen oder was auch immer. Du kannst halt nicht wirklich schießen. Das finde ich halt schade.
I don't think the way to spam uppercut in front of the goal is really balanced, but for the rest, it's really balanced, and I think it's fine.
Do you think ranked is balanced?
Yeah, it's balanced. I think I had all the time the ranks I had with like fans. It was I'm not a very good player. I'm just decent, you know. But I was national 1 and I just played like with them and I won, I lose, I won, I lose, I won, I lose. You know, it was like every time. It was balanced, yeah. I won, I lose. It's like balanced, yeah. Nothing I can say more about it, man.
Ja, Matchmaking war eigentlich gut. Kann man eigentlich so lassen.
Perfekt.
Das war, also ich hatte, als ich Intercity, glaube ich, war ich gerade mal. Ja, Intercity. Da hatte ich auch nur Gegner, die halt auch selber Intercity waren. Oder halt manchmal so einer, der halt drüber war, aber der hatte dann 2 Intercity-Mates. So, also das fand ich eigentlich ausgeglichen. Da war ich sehr mit zufrieden.
Again, the matchmaking was kind of weird in the beginning, but that's because we all had new accounts. So we got a lot of MMR in the start, and then it slowly started to get less. And that's how most games do it, but with Roller Champions, it was just obvious because everyone was new. But later, if everyone is already at champion rank and new players finally start, it's not going to make a big impact that they're instantly in regional. And people just got to remember that. And I think they will also not make it regional and make it lower a bit, but they wanted beta players to reach higher ranks. And for that reason, the ranked wasn't really balanced because well, people just got matched against people that were way better. The fans didn't make any sense. Of course, we didn't have that many players, so you don't have a big pool of people you can choose from to match against each other. And I feel like if the game later gets more players, that it's gonna be more balanced. And I think this system can work really well. And I don't think it really needs change right now. That's my belief.
I do not believe in any way, shape or form that I was always going up against ranked players that are the same rank as me.
I'm not gonna lie, in this beta, my rank experience was horrible, mostly because I have played a solo a lot of the time. But in my opinion, Ubisoft should make a 3v3 ranked mods where you can only play alone, like a solo standard mods, like in Rocket League. I think it's a must-have in this game, because the game experience playing alone and with teammates, it's completely different. So, in my opinion, they should put a mod where you can play with your friends rank and other mod when you can just play alone.
Nein. Also, wenn du einen neuen Account spielst, du hast einfach viel zu viel MMR bekommen. Dieser MMR-Boost am Anfang, der war so insane. Und dadurch ist halt dieses Smurfen entstanden und da waren viele Accounts drin in der Top 100, die, keine Ahnung, da hast du 10 Games drauf gespielt und dann waren die Top 20 oder so. Deswegen, also das Ranked war überhaupt nicht balanced in Bezug auf die auf das MMR-System?
Okay. So this is a hard question, really. I think towards the start of the beta, when they had the requirements for 2,000 fans to enter, I think that was good. But it was also very strange, to me at least, that once you've played your placement matches, you then gain and lose 100 MMR, sort of around that, for what seemed to be, again, another 10 placement matches. It seemed as though it takes too long to level you out where you are. I would have thought after your placement matches, there might be 1 to 2, maybe 3 matches where you gain or lose maybe 100 to 80 MMR. But it just seemed as though, in my experience, like every game until about 30 to 40, I was gaining and losing anywhere between 50 and 100, which to me seemed like far too much to win or lose.
As it is right now, from what I saw, no. And the reason that is, if you understand statistics, their ranking system uses this normal curve variance method, which is represented by sigma. And so sigma is your standard deviation. And so as you do your placement matches, if you win a lot of your placement matches, your standard deviation is super duper duper high, which means that you can gain and lose hundreds of MMR off of your placement matches. I think once people play more than like 30 games on this ranking system, it'll actually be good, because then the game will more accurately be able to place you in the confidence band that it's supposed to based on the statistical model. But right now, as it is, Smurfs and alt accounts are horribly imbalanced, because if you win all your placement matches, you get this mega boost of MMR that's just not right. And I think that Ubisoft is aware of it.
From what I saw, it looked like it was mostly balanced. I think it's kind of difficult to look at it to see if it's balanced or not until there's a larger player base, because you had people in the top 100 who were getting placed up against people who had barely played and all that kind of stuff, and then there were the people who were like top 10 who couldn't get games for like 20 minutes. So I think it's kind of difficult to look at ranked being balanced or not right now, because there isn't a big enough player base at the moment.
There is a lot to improve on the system, so I don't think it was because of the Smurfs and by boosting. But if you didn't get boost and you're not a Smurf, I think it was pretty balanced.
There were a lot of Smurfs in the Roller Champions closed beta. Is Smurfing for you annoying or relatable? Because they don't want to drop out of the top 25 or top 100 with their main accounts.
Okay, so there's two things about Smurfing, right? In this beta, it was kind of needed to Smurf at the end to get in the top 100. And yeah, people just did it for that mostly. Of course, there's people that were already in the top 100 and was Smurfing anyway. And to those people, they probably just wanted faster queue times, because if you're higher, you don't find games. You have to be in queue for like 50 minutes, and no one wants to do that. So if you look at it like that, Smurfing is acceptable in my opinion. On the other hand, by having Smurf accounts, you kind of robbed other people from keys. So that's probably not the best idea if you want to make this community work. So there's kind of two arguments here, and I'm not really sure what I agree with. I mean, you're always going to have Smurfs, you cannot do anything about that. But I think when game releases, it's not going to be that big of an issue, because every game has it, and it's just something you cannot prevent. It is something that will happen more in Roller Champions, of course, because it's a free game, so people can just make a new account. Which is, not ideal, but it is what it is. being a free game gives more benefits than, you know, than that, in my opinion.
I think I don't like to smurf because you just, it's like you playing in this rank, then if you play in this rank, you are a good player. Why you don't try to get more? Like, if you try to get to the top of the hill, man, don't try just to stay on the 65 spot. Like, and if you smurf, you getting like the lower players, and they are very bad. It's not fun if you just playing versus easy player. You know, it's like not the best from the egg. You know.
I think I understand why people do it. I don't agree with it. Like, I mean, the whole pride of you being in top 25 or top 100 is that you got there because of your skill and like your gameplay. To then, you know, like just try and save that. You know, you could just play casual, or if you lose a match, that's you lost a match. You know, take it on the chin, win the next one. I just don't think smurfing's. I don't agree with it entirely. I understand it. I wouldn't do it personally.
I understand smurfing if you can't find matches with your main account, but I don't like to abuse a smurf account to play against weaker player than you to climb up the leaderboard.
Yeah, I don't think smurfing is a problem. In my opinion, the problem it's how fast it is to rank up a new account. So in the beta, if you win most of your placement games, you get a high MMR, and I don't think that's right because it makes it easier for Smurfs to grow their MMR. And I understand the Smurfs because some of the high players have like 5 minutes to have a game, so it's understandable, the Smurfing.
Ich sag mal so, Smurfing kann man nichts gegen machen, ist in jedem Game. Da ist zwar kacke, aber kann man halt leider nichts gegen machen. Und das fand ich gut bei Roller Champions, wenn du einmal Top 100 bist und, sag ich mal, Platz 65 und du nicht weiterspielst, dann können alle Leute dich überholen, dann bist du nach 2 Tagen vielleicht wieder bei irgendwie Top 200, bist du wieder bei Platz 150 oder so. Deswegen, also, wenn man smurft, dann muss man schon übertrieben suchten, oder man ist bei einem Freund, der halt selber zockt, aber gerade nicht da ist und du zockst einfach auf seiner Konsole oder so. Da ist es dann wiederum was anderes, aber das geht ja auch wieder unter Smurfing dann.
Also, ich kann es auf jeden Fall verstehen, wenn man smurft. Vor allem, weil es, wenn man jetzt Top 25 oder Top 10, Top 5, was auch immer ist es halt viel, viel schwerer, ein Game zu finden. Also wirklich viel schwerer. Manchmal suchst du eine halbe, dreiviertel Stunde und du willst halt einfach nur spielen. Deswegen kann ich schon verstehen, wenn du auf Smurfs gehst. Aber man sollte trotzdem versuchen, dass man auf seinem Main-Account höher als auf dem Smurf ist, weil das ist ja am Ende darauf, wo es drauf ankommt.
So I know specifically from talking to a lot of the people who are using Smurf accounts, it was because the time, or because the queues are so long. Personally, I don't agree with smurfing at all. I play Rocket League. I have a Smurf, but I have 20 hours on it compared to my main account with 6,000 hours. So it's like I don't really see a need to Smurf. I understand where a lot of the EU guys are coming from. They want to be able to get into games faster and they want to be able to actually play. But at the same time, it's like, would you not just prefer to push your main account further? I don't know. That's just my whole perspective on it. And yeah, it is probably pretty annoying for people who are getting pushed out because these random accounts with no playtime are taking their spots and pushing them off. So I don't know. It's a little bit annoying.
This is a really complicated question because smurfing in free-to-play games is something that still hasn't been fixed across multiple developers, multiple titles. It's a really hard issue to fix, and there are some ways to fix it, but it relies on providing your phone number or some kind of ID. I think the principle of Smurfs is okay if you want to have an alternate account to just have fun on and not play ranked and worry about losing it. But the second you take your Smurf or alt account into the rank queue, I think it should be it should be a punishable offense because you are significantly hurting the experience of players by being in that level when you're really not supposed to be. So all of these like road to X rank YouTube videos, I think it's lazy content, and I think that it actually hurts the ranked experience more than it helps. For the players that made alternate accounts to not drop out of top 25, I don't blame them. I probably would have done the same thing because at the end of the day, they're also getting rewarded with an in-game title and some physical merch. So like, why wouldn't you do that? But if you're making your Smurf to manipulate the ranking system, I think that should be bannable, personally.
Personally, if I go against a Smurf, I look at it as a learning point. Because if they're usually on the main account higher level than me, then I've got something to learn from this experience. Obviously, I understand that a lot of players, if they go up against Smurfs, they're going to be annoyed, which I guess is understandable. It all depends on your mindset and how you sort of see what's happening. But when it comes to dropping out of the top 100 or 25, I mean, that's a hard one again, because there were so many people that were up there that got crash after crash after crash and lost, 100 MMR each time they crashed. So it's sort of understandable for them to do it, but also people are annoyed about it. So I'm not really too sure what the right stance on that is.
I can understand people that thinks it's annoying. I tried to help for that, but there is still a lot of Smurfs in the top 100. It's kind of difficult for RC team to find them. But for me, it didn't change anything, so I don't really know.
Have you participated in any tournament? If yes, did you like it? If not, why?
Ja, wir haben mit Team Blitz an allen 3 Turnieren, also ich glaube, es gab 3 große Turniere, wir haben an allen 3 teilgenommen. 2 davon haben wir gewonnen, von einem sind wir Zweiter geworden, also es ist schon ganz gut ausgefallen.
I didn't participate in any tournament, mostly because I just wanted to enjoy the game. And like I said before, I didn't have a team, so yeah, just play alone, and I was just enjoying the game.
I participated in 3 tournaments, and I think that were nearly all the tournaments I could play. In the IEL, the Roller Masters Cup, and the EU Cup. Yes, as I mentioned, that was a really nice experience, and I really liked playing these tournaments with my team. And I think sometimes it was a little bit messy, but all in all, it was a lot of fun. And actually, we managed to get in the top 10 in 2 of the 3 tourneys, I think, with my team Shadow Blades.
I have not. No. I mean, I tried to host one.
I haven't participated in any tournament.
Ja, ich habe auf jeden Fall beim Turnier teilgenommen, von Delay, glaube ich, war das. Ich fand auf jeden Fall, die Organisation war 1A. Dann kam auch noch das Programm, womit die das gemacht haben. War anfangs ein bisschen verwirrend. Da hätte ich mir vielleicht eigentlich mal eine Einführung gewünscht. Oder da steht irgendwo, ja, du musst das und das machen, bevor du das Spiel startest. Aber an sich, im Nachhinein war das Programm extrem gut gemacht auch. Also da war auch gut ausgewählt, das Programm. Dann das Logo, der Stream, die Synchronsprecher, die da gesprochen haben, extrem geil. Also das 1A mit Sternchen.
Yeah, my team and I participated in the last tournament that was held, which was the EU Roller Champions Cup #1. We had a really good time. I think it was really well orchestrated and enjoyable experience.
Yes, I was in a tournament and I had my friends with me. There was not on this skill I was, but I just had fun, man. And yeah, I not even got to the top, not even close, but it was fun and my friends had fun. And I knew that I gonna lose, but I just wanted to participate. And it was the tournament from Delay. Yeah. Yeah, that's all, man.
Do you think the tournament orgs did well? If not, why?
Yeah, I think the tournament orgs did pretty well. I think the only one that really had like a couple issues was the IEL one the first week. And like they did well on their with what they could do on the last day of their streams. But the 2 days prior, I felt like they didn't do the best job with communicating to everybody that what was going on. Because the spectate system wasn't working properly and like they had to cut the stream early, but the one day I was in the stream they cut it like without saying anything. So I felt like that was a little bit like not super professional, but the rest of the tournaments I felt were really good, and the last day of the IEL tournament was really good as well.
Yeah, I think they did pretty well.
You know, I came from a small community, and the tournaments were really low effort, and they were just for the community's sake. There were never prizes or anything. So to switch to a community that can host tournaments like this is a big swap for me, and it is really nice to finally be in a better industry, in a better game. And the tournaments that were hosted, the production value was so high, and I really didn't expect it to be that high, and I want to give everyone props for that, because they just made every tournament, like all three of them, they were super good, they were fun, everything was handled well. I really nothing to say, just well done, that's it, pretty much.
I think the tournament orgs was good, and I just had one problem with it, because some teams got disqualified because I think they don't got to know the website where you can verify your team and to check it in, and that was the problem. But the rest was okay. I don't had the problem with it.
I really liked the Roller Champions tournaments that happened with the minimal amount of spectating features that we had. I think that as we go forward, they're really good case studies of what people could be excited to watch. I think we were pulling somewhere between 80 or 90 viewers for like a closed beta tournament, which is pretty respectable in my opinion. And that was just one. I know several other smaller ones got like 20 to 30, but I think they overall did pretty well.
For the first tourneys, definitely. So they definitely did well. In my opinion, the European Cup was the best tournament, because the casting was very well organized, and yeah, I think all in all, this was the best tournament of all.
Ich persönlich fand Roller Masters hat mir am besten gefallen. Das war nämlich nur über einen Tag. Es ging nicht so lang. Der Roller Champs Cup war auch ganz gut, also der EU Cup, weil da waren halt die Wartezeiten noch relativ gering. Es war zwar über 2 Tage, aber noch überschaubar. Was mir nicht gut gefallen hat, war E-League, weil das ging, glaube ich, über 2 oder 3 Tage. Und es hatte extrem lange Wartezeit. Also teils mussten wir 2 Stunden auf Gegner warten. Dann wurden noch Spiele abgebrochen, weil sie nicht on-stream waren. Der Stream hat mega geleckt, also das hat mir nicht so gut gefallen.
Yeah, I think the EU Roller Champions Cup #1 in particular was organised very well. This is due to my team, unfortunately, having another team try to lie about beating us, which is not good. But thankfully, the staff actually managed to get it out sorted very quickly so that we could then carry on with our next game and not hold anyone up in the process.
I am an organizer, so as I saw, it went fine for me and for the other tournament. Maybe the IEL tournament was too long on 3 days, so too long. But overall, I took fun in every matches of the tournaments, and the orgs did well.
An sich war eigentlich alles gut beim Turnier. Das Einzige ist halt die Einführungsprogramme, aber das ist jetzt Meckern auf ganz hohem Niveau. Also, das ist halt, eigentlich war es selbsterklärend, aber wenn man das Programm halt noch nicht kannte, dann war es ein bisschen komisch.
Ja.
Aber sonst war es 1A. Würde ich 1 plus mit Sternchen würde ich so unterschreiben. Abgeben. Abfahrt.
Do you think the performance of the game is good enough to release it in the next few months, or do you think there will be another delay?
So wie wir Roller Champs kennen, denke ich, dass es noch ein Delay geben wird. Es hat ja jetzt zwischen der Closed Alpha und der Closed Beta knapp ein Jahr gelegen. Ich meine, das Spiel ist schon sehr fortschrittlich. Es ist meiner Meinung nach schon fast fertig, aber es gibt halt immer noch viele Bugs, die in einem Spiel, was rauskommt, einfach noch nicht drin sein dürfen. Deswegen denke ich nicht, dass wir vor Sommer und ich denke mal, keine Ahnung, vielleicht Herbst oder Ende des Jahres frühestens spielen können.
There are some bugs and some things to improve, but I think that it's possible that they release the game in the next months. But there is no release date yet, so I think that another delay is also possible. So I'm not sure. It's only Ubisoft that can answer that. So yeah.
I think it's pretty much there. I think they've got some bugs to iron out. I honestly think that they iron out the bugs and add a little bit more content, it's ready for release. I think if they released it now, if they just got rid of the bugs and release it just with 3 maps, the same battle pass, I think that would die out quite quick. I think if they add a few, add a few more maps, extend and make an extended battle pass or like roller pass, and iron out the bugs, I think they'll be ready. So I think, yeah, next few months they probably will be ready for it.
Based on the beta, I think it's still gonna take a bunch of months because we had a lot of glitches. Nothing was perfect. There was no chat. There was no, there was no scoreboard. That kind of stuff. Things you're just missing, and there were still a bunch of glitches. You could still glitch in the floor. That kind of stuff. Knowing me, I'm kind of studying to become a game maker, so I kind of know how long that kind of stuff takes, and I can tell you, fixing bugs isn't fun, alright? Fixing bugs is a nightmare, so I would not surprise if this takes 4 months, or maybe even longer. And I also think people that are just rushing Ubisoft to release are delusional. You don't want a game to release that soon. You know what happened to Cyberpunk. There's multiple stories like that. You just don't want that to happen. You want the game to be really finished before they launch. And, gameplay-wise, I think they're really close to being finished right now. I think it is good. There's good balance. I think if they release the game like this without any glitches, that it would be fine. And maybe a few add-ons. Like, just quality of life things, a chat during game, that kind of stuff. Just small things like that. And I think if they do that, then we should be good. And that should take a few months, probably. Probably 4 or more. That's my prediction.
Ich würde, glaube ich, mit einem weiteren Delay rechnen. Weil das Spiel hatte halt, klar, Closed Beta, viele Bugs. Aber ich könnte mir vielleicht vor dem Delay noch ein bisschen irgendwie neue Maps wünschen. Vielleicht sogar ein paar Tricks. Und halt Skins. So, die waren sehr einstimmig, die Skins, muss man sagen. Und also ich würde auf jeden Fall, glaube ich, mit einem Delay rechnen. Allein, weil die Alpha und Closed Beta so lange gedauert hat.
From what I saw in closed beta, I think that gameplay itself is very, very close to finishing. But there are still a lot of game-breaking bugs and glitches that could or couldn't be fixed. Like, the caveat here is that you never know what build you're playing on in the dev cycle, because what if we're playing on a beta, but they've already gotten really far away from these changes? Like, we never know. You don't always assume that the build you're playing on is the retail version. With that being said, I would still like to see it worked on past the anticipated early 2021 release. I think if it comes out during summer, I think it's a better window personally, even though it's not what people want to hear. It just gives them more time to take the feedback from beta and implement it into the game. A bad game is forever bad if it releases poorly. So you should always keep that in mind when you're doing development. If you release a bad game once, it'll always be bad. So take as much time as you need, and we'll be here when it's ready.
Well, I didn't really run into too many bugs myself, but I do know that a lot of people got disconnected from a lot of matches and were actually locked out of certain game modes like skate park. So I imagine it'll probably be a fair few months, maybe 2 to 3 months at the earliest that we see it, which I think is a good idea because then the devs can polish it all up. But like I said, I didn't really have too many issues, so it means, from my perspective, hopefully it's not going to take too long for them to sort out because it didn't affect everybody. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for 2 to 3 months.
So this question, I think the gameplay is good enough. I think there's because I think they're planning to do a season 0, which means that they would probably give us access to the game and it would technically be like a full release. But then I assume they would do updates and patches to ensure that the game is suitable for ranked and the full release of season 1. But I think so. I don't think we're gonna get the game in the release window that it was originally stated for, which was by the end of this fiscal year, and this fiscal year ends at the end of March. So I don't think we're gonna get it in the original release window. But I think we could definitely get it in the next few months, unless they go back to the drawing board on something based on closed beta feedback, which I don't think they should. I think the game is good enough to where it doesn't really need anything more. They just need to start fixing things.
Yeah, I don't think, because they had a lot of bugs. I don't know if they're gonna have this same bugs when it's released, but if they're gonna delay, I don't know what they're gonna think about it, because they delay it very often. But if they need more time, then let's give them more time.
Yes, I think the game is good enough. I'm happy with the game, how it is. Maybe the devs could work on performance after the game released, but I could imagine that it will take some months to release the game. I have no idea what they want to improve, or if they want to change something in the game, like the movement or something. I'm just happy when the game release.
I would like to say yes, but obviously not that ready because of the bugs. I don't know really what to add. They just need to improve everything around the esport and the spectator mode, and balance more with the offense defense, the spammer bracket I told you, and the FPS issues. And if they don't add anything, I think it's kinda good to release. And I'm really optimistic, so I would say in 5 months.
I heard a lot about class systems and special attacks. Do you think Roller Champions needs that?
I don't think it would be useful for competitive. I think competitive is good how it is, but I could imagine that a class system would be nice for an extra mode or something like that. In competitive, I think it's too hard to balance a class system or like special attacks. I have no idea how to balance this in game.
Okay, I haven't actually heard anything about that, but personally, I think any sort of class system sort of extra abilities that only one character can have. I don't think it belongs in Roller Champions, to me anyway. I think as it stands, we've all got the same toolkit, which is brilliant, and we should just polish up, get better, you know, whatever you need to. Personally, I need to get better at saving goals. Yeah, I think we should all be on the same playing field and just train to get better.
No, honestly, that would ruin completely the concept of the game. But what they could do is an alternative mod with that class system and special attacks that players can enjoy.
You mean class systems like Overwatch, so you have multiple abilities or something that you can unlock certain skills and then you can use them in game? No, I think that will kill the game. Don't do that. That's completely gonna ruin your idea, because what makes it so appealing is that everyone, you know, has the same kit, and if you start adding random abilities, people can get tackled and just don't know what just happened, you know? And that's something you want to prevent. You want to make it skill based. You don't want to add random stuff. It's also gonna completely destroy your esports scene. So no, Ubisoft, if you watch this, don't fucking do it, all right? Don't do it. If you do it, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I swear. I'm really leaving if you do that. I don't care. I really don't care. I'll just drop this game and move on to a different project. I really don't care. If you do that, I'm literally leaving. Okay, I hope that was clear.
No, not at all. Not at all. That's just, to me, that's just, you're going to turn Roller Champions into a meta. At the moment, it's based on your skill and finding out what works for you and teamwork. I feel like if you start introducing special skills and all that sort of stuff, you're gonna impose a meta onto the game. I don't think Roller Champions is the place for it.
I think this has been something that's been talked about in the Roller Champions Discord like quite a few times. I think class systems are unnecessary. I think the idea behind this is that kind of everybody's on the same playing field. Or the idea with the game right now is everybody's on the same playing field, and you know, it's kind of like Rocket League, where each person kind of has their own role, and you kind of like rotate around, and your role changes all the time. Whereas if you have class systems, you're kind of limited to specific roles, and I think class systems would kind of limit the game quite a bit. So I don't think Roller Champions needs that, but you know, that might be just me.
I'm really against that. I don't think that Roller Champions needs classes or stats to be a good game. I think that it's proven that it's already a good game without those things. However, there is room to say that you could have like special modes, like maybe something like a Rumble type of thing in Rocket League where you had characters that had stats and make it wild and fun and crazy. But I think we should just leave the core gameplay as is without any kind of pay to win stats or character classes or archetypes like this. I think it's negatively impacts this type of genre personally.
Ich sag mal so, es sind halt schon, also es bereitet dem Spiel viel mehr Möglichkeiten. Man könnte das vielleicht so ein bisschen mit Rocket League vergleichen, so wenn man in der Luft ein bisschen air dribbelt oder so. Wenn du, sag ich mal, in Roller Champions so ein bisschen dribbeln kannst und dann damit irgendwie richtig frische Tore machst, dann gibt es auch extrem viele Best-of, wo so geile Tore vorkommen. Also ich könnte es mir gut vorstellen, ob sie es umgesetzt bekommen oder wie man es umsetzen kann ich mir nicht vorstellen. Aber an sich wäre es not bad.
It's like in every game nowadays, it's like classes and special attacks from the different classes. I don't think that maybe, I don't know how they're gonna make it if it's coming out, but I give it a try if they're gonna make it, and maybe it's gonna be something that that's cool, or You know, like something that's changing the whole game.
Nein.
In the game mode, it would be a masterclass. Like it's a really good idea, but not in ranked or normal game.
Do you have a favorite Roller Champions team or content creator? Maybe both.
Hello, I'm Flip Flip, and I'm one of the owners of Vendix.
Hey Flip Flip, do you have a favorite RC team or content creator?
Who?
You.
No, who asked?
So since the beginning, I watch Justin Reverse videos. They are really good to make us updated about everything going on with Roller Champions. So I would say that I'm also a fan of his team. But on Twitch, I like to watch Jesus and Oma Monster. They are my favorite streamers.
Content Creator nicht wirklich, weil ich habe selber viel gespielt. Ich war kaum auf Twitch, also relativ wenig. Die meiste Zeit habe ich selber gespielt. Und bei den Teams ist es momentan sehr schwierig, weil man sieht ja, dass sich viele, ich sag mal, trennen oder es gibt sehr viele Veränderungen momentan. Deswegen kann man sich noch nicht wirklich auf ein Favorite-Team einigen. Ja.
I do.
Oh.
I'd like to say my favorite team is Surge RC. That's my team. No, I'm only kidding. Personally, my favorite team, probably not a surprise, is Team Blitz, because at this point, the amount of games that we've seen from them, they just pull out crazy, exciting plays to watch. Obviously, they've won 2 of the 3 tournaments. They didn't win the last one, but they've still been playing absolutely crazy. And they've been the team that I've really enjoyed watching the most. So I'd have to say Team Blitz.
Nice. And a favorite content creator?
See, that's a tough one. There's a few out there. I'd say for individual plays, it would have to be Supra, because I think we've all seen the crazy stuff that he can do. You know, skating across the ceiling. The ceiling. What is he doing? Absolutely insane. But apart from him, I'd have to say Justin Reverse is also, you know, a very, very good content creator that actually brought me into the game. So I really respect him and all of his content.
That's pretty cute. He's actually also my favorite content creator.
Yeah, he makes some good stuff, man.
Yeah, of course.
And like, yeah, I actually completely forgot about the game, to be honest, for, I don't know, about a year since the alpha. And then when I got an email saying about the beta coming up, it's like, oh yeah, that game exists. And then I found loads of Justin's videos and I was like, oh yes, I'm so hyped to get back on the game. Well, I say get back on it, I didn't play it, but this was the first time I played it. But
oh, nice. That's pretty cool.
I was really excited to get into playing the game. That's what I was meant to say.
I may be a little bit biased here, but my favorite RC team is Team Havoc. Just so happens to be the team that I'm on. Favorite content creator, I would have to say I'm a big fan of, as good of friends as I am with her, I'm a big fan of her content. Riley Rocks. I think her, you know, she sent me the clip, one of like the clip she was putting at the beginning of one of her videos, and I thought it was like amazing. I asked her to send it to me again. So I think she's really good as a content creator. And yeah, my favorite RC team, of course, has to be Havoc. So
me. Okay, well, favorite content creator. There's not a lot of choice right now. I mean, it's gonna be really arrogant if I choose myself, right? So, I mean, you know, I'm just gonna state the obvious, because there's, like, I see it like this, right? There's me and there's Justin, and occasionally someone else makes a video like us, but we're like the two, people that actually go in depth and talk about the game and stuff. Of course, you, Jesus, you do it too. But yeah, I feel like me and Justin are the top two right now. And Justin being far top one. Let that be clear, just saying. The thing with Fickle is he barely made any videos. So he's more like a streamer than a YouTuber. And, well, that counts as a content creator, but I personally don't really watch Twitch that much. So, I mean, just stating the obvious, I think I would go with Justin because he has done so much for the community and he's just been there from day one, and it's really respectable what he has achieved so far.
Well, I have to say it's Shadowblades because I played with this team with my team in the beta. So Bollock, Fabs, Luna, and I invented this team, so that's my favorite one, I would say. Yes, and I mostly watched I think Sisso stream during the closed beta, and that was every time that was fun watching him.
Jesus. Yeah, you're my favorite content creator. Probably my favorite player is probably Joris.
Also Team auf jeden Fall habe ich extrem gefühlt. Team Blitz mit Swift, Joris und Owens. Owens ist hier generell, kennt jeder. Swift, Joris ist auch extrem bekannt. Und korrekte Dudes. Anders korrekte Dudes einfach. Content Creator gibt's nur Geesus. Also, wer will was anderes sagen? Das geht nicht. Es gibt nur Geesus als Content Creator, der die komplette Szene einfach hops nimmt. Wie lange hast du gestreamt? Ich glaube, du hast Roller Champions angefangen, bist bei 200 Followern.
Ja, true, ja.
Bro, krank, Respekt.
I liked, when I watched them, a lot of people would say Blitz, but I don't think Blitz was actually, they weren't pioneering enough mechanics. So I actually really liked, I think it was Galactic Mafia, which was, it was a team with, what's his name? He's a French player. It was Angus, someone else, and which team was that?
That was Akdan and Werber, wasn't it? Angus Waller was playing with Bezos and.
Yes, that team. I think that team was probably the best team personally. They actually did end up winning one of the tournaments, and I think that's because they decided to push mechanics forward rather than focus on winning. And they're my favorite team for sure. Content creator, I don't watch enough content to be able to say, like, I really don't go on YouTube and like watch videos. I watched a lot of streams of anybody that was on and it was just supporting them. I think Swift, if he made content, it would be really good. I think his mechanics are great. I think he has a really nice vibe to his stream. He just needs to start talking more. I know he's kind of reserved with his like German accent, but I think he can make really good content.
So my favorite team is mine, obviously. I like my team, but in content creator, I think it will be Justin, Rivers, Zyber, and Riley, because they all want to promote RC esport and roller champions overall, and maybe more Justin, but they all do. They all make good videos, and I really love them.
Do you think EU only was a good decision from the Roller Champions team?
Viele werden sagen, also die es nicht spielen könnten, haben sich übel darüber aufgeregt. Ich habe einen Discord-Channel gesehen, so, dass als es released wurde, dass nur EU ist, direkt so, was? Nur EU? Wollt ihr mich verarschen und sowas? Aber ich persönlich, weil ich spielen konnte, ich fand es extremst gut. Es war eine kleine Community, irgendwie alle kannten sich untereinander. Als ich bei dem Turnier mitgemacht habe, ich gucke mir die Spieler durch, ich kannte da so viele, das war in keinem Spiel so. Deswegen fand ich eigentlich EU so extrem gut. vor allem was auch Twitch angeht. Es gab nicht viele Streamer, heißt, die kleinen Streamer, die es gestreamt haben, haben halt extrem viele Zuschauer dadurch bekommen. Und zum Beispiel bei mir, als Owens, Joris und Swift reinkamen, war schon herzerwärmend, so die besten Spiele, also 2, 3 und 4 damals so Standpunkt, bei sich im Stream zu haben, hat sich schon extrem geil angefühlt. Und dann noch der Content Creator Geesus. Also ich fand's geil. Ich fand's echt gut, dass es nur EU war. Muss ich sagen.
Okay, so I'm gonna sound very technical here, alright? Of course, you know, NA wasn't gonna like it. Everyone knew that. Ubisoft knew that. Literally, their headquarters are in NA. But I think it was a good decision after all. And the reason for that is it wasn't good for the community, but you gotta consider Ubisoft was making no money from this beta. None. Except for Ubisoft Plus subscriptions. And to host... How many people do you think joined? Like 5,000 or something? In the beta? Okay, 10,000, right? If 10,000 players have to be hosted on your servers, that's gonna grind the money, alright? Let me tell you that. And if you make no money from this beta, and you host 2 regions, which would require like double the players, because otherwise you cannot fill the servers, your capital is gonna fall and you're not gonna have budget for other things. I mean, of course it's Ubisoft, so they have a big budget, but you know, Roller Champions feels like a bit of an outcast game from them. It's not like a major thing. So the leadership probably doesn't want to give out that much money, and that's why the choice was made. That's what I think. That's my theory.
I think my decision on this one's going to be a bit biased because I'm from the EU, so I don't mind the decision. But I guess if it was, say, NA only, then yeah, I'd probably be pretty sad. So I think it was probably not the right decision, but I don't know what the devs' thoughts behind doing that was, so it's hard to answer, really.
True. Yeah, that's actually true.
It's hard, isn't it, really? Because there's so many players that were on the alpha that obviously are NA and other regions. And could you imagine like having to wait over 2 years and then seeing just one region of people playing it and having fun and you're not allowed to? That'd be horrible.
I don't think it was the best, but they did that. And if they did that, it's because there is a reason and I don't know it. So I don't think it was the best, but a good decision, I think.
Teils. Also das Einzige, wo ich jetzt sagen würde, ist, dass NA und die EU, die Top-Player dann mehr balanced sind. Weil NA hatte ja schon ein paar Workshops mehr als EU. Aber allerdings ging auch sehr viel Reichweite dadurch verloren. Also es gab ja kaum Viewer auf Twitch, so morgens oder so, wenn zum Beispiel NA-Spieler streamen würden. Das Spiel hatte ab und zu mal 20 Viewer oder so. Also das war absolut tot nach ein paar Tagen. Und deswegen denke ich, es wäre schon besser, wenn NA dabei wäre.
No. I think it depends on what they do next. If release is a long time away and they're planning on doing either a completely open beta or a US only beta, then yeah, I suppose that was the right thing to do, as long as it's fair. If release is a long time away and they're not planning on doing anything about it, then no. Because I feel like it's unfair to the community. So in terms of community, no, it wasn't the right thing to do. Maybe in terms of actual testing, then yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter where your players come from, as long as they test a server and you get the results you want. So yeah.
I could imagine that the devs had their reasons to just put the EU only to the Roller Champions game, but I look forward to play with players from around the world.
No. That's a short answer, no. Long answer, I think, specifically with the way they marketed beforehand, they had come in and told us, that they had exciting news. They didn't say anything specific to EU. And then they came out and went, yeah, closed beta, EU only. Which kind of locked out a lot of players that were like super hyped. And like, it's not necessarily like a bad decision. But it would have been nice to know like why they didn't include any other regions. I don't know. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I think like it might have made sense to them, but of course that doesn't transfer over to the consumer. So it would have been nice to like know why, because there are a lot of NA players who are super dedicated to the game and who like really missed out because of this. So
No, I don't think so. I don't know what their intentions were. They haven't really stated it publicly, but it is what it is. I can't do anything about it. I think it was a really, really bad decision for community development to completely alienate a major region of your game. But like I said, it'd be like that sometimes. I don't think it was a good decision at all.
What do you think about the marketing of Roller Champions?
See, I've seen a few recently, a few videos about it from the content creators, sort of trying to push the game and that. But I've not really seen too much elsewhere. So, I mean, maybe I'm not looking in the right places, but for me personally, I haven't seen too much apart from on Twitter.
From now, there was not a lot of marketing or maybe basic things. So I can't tell that much, but they're gonna put money and marketing, or I hope so.
I don't think marketing has even begun yet. And what I mean by that is we have the Discord of our close community, but they haven't even started to reach out to content creators or post advertisements on things like Instagram or Reddit ads or any kind of marketing stream. Typically, marketing nowadays for games is done through content creators. And we actually saw a little bit of that with the closed alpha because some of the trusted Ubisoft content creators got the game early. And even that, I think, was kind of a not great marketing attempt. Like, they got a couple of small name streamers from Europe that had some followings, but it wasn't like a massive influencer. So I think the marketing has been almost non-existent so far. It won't be until maybe like a month or even during release when they really start to ramp up marketing and start to spend a lot more focus and money on that, because it makes no sense to market your game when it's not out yet or coming out or even a release date. So people that are saying nobody's going to know about Roller Champions when it releases, they haven't advertised the game at all. Well, it's like, yeah, they haven't, because it's not coming out yet. And it's not like a game like Valorant, for instance, that has a huge following beforehand because it's a game made by Riot. And it's just like, let Ubisoft do their thing. They know how to market. They're a good developer, so just trust.
I think the marketing is not. To be honest, I don't think the marketing has been the best. I like how they have new community managers that come in and actually like talk to the community. But I think they can get our hopes up sometimes, and specifically with what we were just talking about with EU only, the community managers have come in and hyped up everybody, and then it was only ended up being EU. So I think that was a little bit weird. And I don't think they've actually started properly marketing the game yet, because it's only been in like these closed tests. So I know they did some like marketing through SteelSeries to give out keys for the closed beta, and I know they did with another website as well. So those kinds of things are pretty cool, but ultimately I don't think the marketing is really like fully started yet, and I don't think they've necessarily had a reason to fully start it yet.
Never saw something, some commercial or something over a roller champion. Every time I'm speaking with a guy with it, like, do you know roller? I say, do you know roller champs? Always, no, I don't know it. I don't know it. Nobody knows about that game. I hope maybe they make more commercials and more, yeah, more like doing some stuff for the community to bring this game to the gamer.
Boah, das Marketing ist echt schwer gewesen. Die haben ja auf YouTube kam Werbung, aber an sich ist es halt eine komplett neue Spielart. Es ist halt echt schwer, das jetzt zu vermarkten. Was ich mir vorstellen könnte, wäre halt, ich weiß nicht, ob man es kennt, wie bei Valorant damals, dass man nur den Key bekommt, wenn man anderen Streamern zuschaut und dadurch halt mit Glück den Key bekommen kann. Das wäre cool. Registrierung war halt auch gut. Aber so könnte man es mehr vermarkten, weil dann mehr Werbung kommt auf YouTube. Ich glaube, auf Twitch war keine, wenn ich mich nicht irre. Aber auf YouTube gab es auf jeden Fall Werbung und auf Instagram gab es Werbung. Also eigentlich war es okay. Mit 5 von 10 würde ich sagen. 7 von 10.
Ja, und auf Twitter halt.
Ja, okay, Twitter habe ich nicht, da bin ich raus.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the reveal trailer, like back in, when was that? I think that was E3. Was that 2019? 2018? Yeah, I think it was 2019. If it wasn't for that, I never would have known Roller Champions existed. I have not seen any marketing for it whatsoever. At all. They definitely need to do a bit more marketing, or they probably are doing it, just target it differently. I'd imagine they're probably, everyone who plays Rocket League has probably seen it loads, but you know, so like, I love Watch Dogs. I love Assassin's Creed. I'm a massive Ubisoft fan, and I have legitimately not seen a single advert for Roller Champions. Even after playing it, making videos about it, posting about it, I still have never seen a Roller Champions advert.
Ja, wie soll ich sagen? Also, ich denke, es ist schon ausbaufähig. Ich bin jetzt auch kein Experte darin. Aber bis jetzt hat es ja noch nicht wirklich einen Hype abbekommen.
No, I want to see the whole internet full of Roller Champions advertisements when the game releases.
About the marketing, they haven't really done that much marketing, to be honest, and that's logical because they're in test phases right now. You don't want a lot of people. You want the mass people to come later. Of course, they hired a few Twitch streamers and they hired a few YouTubers to make videos, but I think when Roller Champions is fully releasing, they're gonna pay much larger streamers, because no hard feelings, my monster, but you know, you're not the biggest streamer, and they sponsored you, and they sponsored me, and you know, we're not big yet. Of course we can grow, but they wouldn't do that at full release. That would be foolish. They would go for bigger guys, and we just, you know, we got selected because we're not that big, and we would reach just the right people and just the right amount of people. And of course they have a platform, Ubisoft Connect, and you know, they can just post it there and people just start downloading it, because that's how it works. And that's also why they haven't launched on Steam yet, because it's just a test phase. And the marketing they have done so far, in my opinion, it's flawless. They haven't gone too many players. You know, the Discord server and all the social media are around 10,000 followers, and that is good enough for test phases. You don't need mass people, and I think Ubisoft is gonna do great at release, at marketing and at full release, and I really believe that. But what they have done so far with the community managers and all the events and stuff, I think they have done a really good job. Really? Maybe I'm Jesus. I'm the Messiah. Fucking bow for me, bitch. Go there.
I'm a bit scared that Roller Champions won't get the hype the game deserves. What is your opinion about that, and what could help the game to get more popular? Or do you think this game will automatically get a big hype after the release?
For me, they just have to put money and make commercials with streamers is the best thing, because if the streamers like, they're gonna play again, and people will stay and play again also. So they just have to pay, and for France, it gonna works. It will be a banger, but I don't really know in other countries.
So I think the game will naturally get quite a lot of like players just as soon as they release it, because it's a Ubisoft title. It's free to play, so there's tons of aspects that really help like with these kinds of games. With getting more popular, I think they really need to work on, you know, what they're gonna do each season and like content and stuff like that. And then just having a reason for casual players to like stay. As long as we have like those aspects, it should get pretty big, I assume. Maybe not as big as other games like Rocket League, but it still should be pretty big.
I think scared, probably not. The game obviously has a small following at the minute, and that's completely fine by me, because everything that I've seen from the community has been uplifting and, you know, helping the devs, helping each other. And I think realistically that's the main thing you want as a game developer, to go forward. You know, you want your community to enjoy the game and help each other. So I think that in itself is going to help grow the game later on, once it releases and more, you know, players grow into the game. But I really do see potential in Roller Champions to become, you know, an esports title. Just from, you know, watching the few EU tournaments that we've had, and how little time some of these teams have been together. Just imagine, you know, a year down the line, what's going to be going on. It's going to be so hyped to watch. So I think as time goes on, it's going to build and build and build. And I genuinely do think we'll see Roller Champions esports.
This is a really complex question, because there are multiple ways you can look at it. If you take a case study like Rocket League, which is in a very similar situation, it was from a more indie developer that was kind of putting their all into a product. Their release, when you go and look back on it, was both amazing and really bad at the same time, because a lot of people were playing, too many people, for instance, and the bad part about it was that the servers died, and they were not prepared for the amount of people that were coming into their game. And so when I think about Roller Champions like that, it has so many things going for it. Free to play on multiple consoles, including Nintendo products. Cross-platform that we've already seen in the beta. We can have consoles playing with PC players and vice versa. And it has Ubisoft backing it. So like, it's this perfect storm of things that on paper should ignite fire when it releases. So I'm putting a lot of my confidence in all those factors, and I think it will have a good release, but it could also have a good and bad release where it's so good that people experience bugs and glitches and server problems that they're not going to want to come back. I think it won't be immediately hyped because it will take a while to grow the community. I mean, look at, again, case study of Rocket League. They went from concurrent users on their platforms to being less than 100,000, and over the course of 5 years, it's encroaching almost like 900 to a million per day. So it's just like slowly over time, they are really ramping up their player base if they continue to update the game. And I think Roller Champions will be the same way. I don't think it'll be a FOMO type of, oh my god, look at this game, we got to get in at one type situation like a lot of Battle Royale releases are, or things like that. It'll be a slow growth, but stick with it, and I think it will be successful in the future.
I don't think it gets automatically hype. I think it's in the hands of the devs. They need to improve the game and listen to the community. If they do what they want and don't fix issues, the game could get destroyed, I think. But I'm pretty sure that this game have the chance to be really, really popular.
I hope that Roller Champions gonna get like Rocket League hyped, and maybe if they gonna make more advertisement, and maybe if they do something with Twitch or do some features with some other partners, maybe we have a chance to make Roller Champions big. But we also make it big. So if it's released, we need to support the game and bring it out to the gamer.
Also Stand jetzt würde ich das komplett ausschließen. Ich denke nicht, dass es irgendeine Art von Hype geben wird am Anfang. Vielleicht wird sich das ein bisschen entwickeln, wenn der E-Sport rankommt und dann, keine Ahnung, Prize Pool da ist oder so und das dann viele Leute sehen und das dann selber probieren. Aber momentan ist es halt einfach schwierig und keine Ahnung, momentan ist halt nicht so wirklich der Grund da, das Spiel zu spielen, weil einfach überhaupt noch nichts fest ist. Man weiß nicht, ob es E-Sport gibt, man weiß nicht, wie sich das Game entwickelt. Es ist einfach nur eine Glückssache. Außer du spielst halt casual und hast Spaß daran. Dann, keine Ahnung. Ist halt was anderes, aber ist halt E-Sport-based. Deswegen würde ich nicht sagen, dass es momentan eine hohe Chance da ist, dass ein Hype um das Spiel entsteht.
Ich glaube automatisch nicht, weil bei der Closed Beta waren auch schon nicht so viele Leute dabei, wie ich dachte. Ich dachte so, boah, Junge, ich gehe jetzt da rauf und sehe da nur so irgendwie Roller Champions 100.000 Zuschauer. Aber das lag natürlich auch daran, dass es nur EU war. Aber wenn es, glaube ich, für NA auch noch rauskommt, dann wird es auf jeden Fall dicken Hype bekommen. Und wenn jetzt halt viele Leute auch das streamen und viele Leute sehen so, boah, was ist das für ein Game? Und es ist auch noch kostenlos. Allein wenn es kostenlos ist, wird es automatisch einen dicken Hype bekommen eigentlich. Und was man auch dazu sagen kann, ist, dass was soll ich sagen? Fuck. Was war denn das jetzt nochmal? Ja, mit den richtigen Content Creator. Und genau, wenn Tricks kommen irgendwie. Klar, man kann nicht sagen, wie die kommen oder was da geschehen wird mit den Tricks. Aber wenn man sieht, was man da alles mit dem Ball, beziehungsweise dann ohne den Ball machen kann, gibt das einen schon den Hype, das zu spielen, wenn man sieht, so ja, irgendwie, man kann, keine Ahnung, Backflips oder sowas ziehen, keine Ahnung. Aber ich habe zum Beispiel den Hype übel bekommen durch dieses Boosten an der Wand, auch wenn ich es nicht richtig kann, aber es hat Fun gemacht. Und das Boosten an den Mates, das Teamspiel, das Pasten, das war also, mich hat der Hype schon anders gekickt. Mal sehen, wie es bei den anderen ist. Also wenn es NA kommt, dann wird auf jeden Fall der Hype dick kommen, glaube ich. Ich hoffe aber, dass es vielleicht EU bleibt, was ein bisschen unfair ist.
I don't think it's going to get as big a hype as I'd like. I think given how well the game's been received, I feel like Ubisoft could maybe put in a bit more marketing effort to help it. I mean, you know, they could do stuff like Twitch Prime. They could do Twitch drops. Maybe even support more creators like yourself. Get it out there a bit more. Do something to encourage more content to be made about it. Or even do something to encourage people to tell others about it. You know, word of mouth is a powerful marketing tool, and I don't think it's going to get a huge hype when it launches. Because, as I said, like I like the game, and I actively look into the game, and I don't see anything about it. You know, there's nothing there's nothing out there to direct me to Roller Champions apart from me wanting to know about it. So I feel like if they put a bit more trust in their creators and invest a little bit more into it, it will do really well. I do think it will grow on its own. It's got a really dedicated community now. It's got amazing creators around it, so it will grow on its own. I just don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna have a bit of the gonna go the same way as Hyperscape. Gonna have a little boost at the start and then gonna fizzle out a little bit, and it's gonna depend on the community.
So, okay, I want to add one more thing, alright? How many games have you played before full release?
Around 2 or 3.
And how many games have you played in total?
Oh, that's a lot. Maybe 200, 300?
Exactly my point. No one hears about games in test phases. The big capital is literally released when it fully comes out. Nothing explodes before full release. It doesn't happen, alright? At full release, they go all out, big guns, alright? Big loaded. Here. Anyway, you know, everything they have is gonna come out at full release. It's just so. I hope that gives you encouragement, because better than a Nerf gun I can't do. I'm sorry.
But true. Only Valorant is the only game who would explode before with one of the games.
True.
Before.
Yeah, that's true.
And Fortnite? Nah, not really. There was a game before. I mean, Fortnite. The Fortnite.
I mean, of course there's exceptions, but you gotta remember that those are shooters. Those are shooters.
True.
A shooter is the most popular genre of the gaming industry.
Yeah, but there's a difference between early access and beta, I guess. Because PUBG and Fortnite, they were all early access. They weren't beta. In the beta, no one knows about Fortnite and PUBG, but if there was a beta, I don't know. There was this one Fortnite Save the World game mode, and it was okay. A lot of people knew about that, but no one expected that game would get a hype like that. And then there was the early access with Battle Royale.
The Battle Royale
explodes after PUBG. It was just the hype of PUBG, and it took the hype and was growing more. And it was the hype of H1Z1, I guess, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And PUBG
and
was
also
only
the culling as well. People always forget the culling.
Yeah. And yeah, I know. But Valorant was actually in the beta, so this game explodes in the beta. That was insane.
Yeah.
That's something very, very unique, that the game explodes in the beta.
Yeah. But yeah, again, Riot, the makers of Valorant, they have the most played game on the planet.
Yeah, true.
Well, that's not true. Online game, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, probably that's GTA, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Right? League of Legends. It's the biggest esport.
Yeah.
It's such a big organization, and they can just pull out the big guns instantly. And of course, Ubisoft does that too, but Ubisoft doesn't have a reputation for online games. They have a reputation for RPGs.
Yeah. Yeah, true. They promoted that pretty good, to be honest, because they had the resources for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like you said before, why would you promote a game what costs too much resources if it won't get something out of it? Because Roller Champions is not a shooter.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, like, 10,000 followers before a release it's amazing.
Yeah.
And we really should not agree. We really should not complain about that number.
Yeah,
and
right.
People that are skeptic, I understand it, but I also think it's a little early to judge.
Was the beta as good as you thought it would be?
I got to play a lot of the closed beta mechanics during some of the workshops, so I really just wanted to see what they changed from the workshop, and from my eyes, if you were an EU player, I think the beta was pretty legit. Like, you got a long time to play it. It had a ranking system that worked. It had special time releases. It had in-game events with the loot balls in skate park. So I think it was pretty successful in the fact that if you're an EU, you definitely got your money's worth. Not that you paid anything to be there anyway, but I think it was very successful.
The beta was actually a lot better than I was expecting. To be honest, I was really expecting that I would enjoy it for sure. But it's the most fun I've had on a game in a long time, and that speaks volumes.
Gameplay was decent. I expected it technically to be better though. Like a lot of things that were problems in the closed alpha were still issues in the closed beta. And you know, there were like disconnects, all that kind of stuff. People weren't finding games. I think they were more focused on like, you know, the skate park and putting out different game modes, whereas people just want to be able to play the game without like issues. And I think we still haven't got to the point where we could go into it and like expect to have no issues. And I think that'll be kind of relating back to the last question. I think that'll be a big thing as well, is not having these issues when you're trying to matchmake, not having these issues when you get into a game, all that kind of stuff. So I would have expected the beta to be better. The gameplay was good and the gameplay was solid, and it definitely helped. But from a technical perspective, I think there were still a lot of issues that shouldn't have been there, seeing as the game's been in development for as long as it has been.
Ich muss sagen, ich habe nichts vom Spiel erwartet. Ich habe es halt die Alpha habe ich nicht gespielt. Ich habe es nur durch 3 Kollegen von mir gehört. Und als ich aber die Werbung von Roller Champions gesehen habe, da hat's schon, könnte ich mir schon ein geiles Spiel vorstellen darunter. Und alle waren, also bei mir, in meinem Kreis waren alle so richtig gehypt auf das Game, habe ich mitgemacht sozusagen. Habe ich mich einfach dran gehangen und dann war ich mit echt zufrieden. War echt okay. Es waren natürlich zwischendurch halt immer diese Aussetzer von den Lobbys, aber Close Alpha ist verständlich.
I played the alpha, and there was I think I like it more, but the beta was also good. The beta was very good. I don't have nothing to say about the beta because just the bugs was very annoying that you can't find games some days, but yeah, it was not bad.
To be honest, I already knew what would be in the beta because I played the Clandestine Rivals, but it was in December and the beta was in February. And in 5 months, they changed so many things, like not the game, but the FPS and everything. So nothing was new for me, but it was still as good as I thought. Then.
To be honest, at the start was a bit bad because of the party problems. I couldn't play with my friends. But other than that, was good. Was better than I expect. I make a lot of friends, and I love the community and the interaction that I have with some people in the Discord server. Was really fun.
Ich hatte nicht wirklich hohe Erwartungen. Ich hatte eigentlich nur Erwartungen an mich selber. Ich wollte halt Top 10, vielleicht auch Top 5 schaffen. Oder einfach das Improvement sehen. Ich habe ja jetzt in der Beta erst angefangen mit Keyboard zu spielen, das habe ich ja vorhin gar nicht gemacht.
Same.
Und ich denke, es ist soweit alles gut gelaufen. Natürlich ist halt eine Beta, man kann noch nicht viel urteilen, das wird sich noch ändern, es gibt viele Probleme, aber sie war jetzt auch nicht schlecht.
Oh, it's much better. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. The Roller Champions, like when I got given access to Roller Champions, my expectations were very low. You know, I thought it'd be fun, but I thought of Roller Champions like House Flipper. Like I play House Flipper once in a while. It's not something I'd ever take seriously. It's not something I'd ever invest loads of time into. But it's just something I pick up when I'm bored and like when you got nothing else to do. That's how I expected Roller Champions to be. And then after playing it, it's way better than I expected. It's amazing.
I don't really know what I expected. It was a test phase, so I expected bugs. So, I mean, let's keep this short. Like, I talked paragraphs before, but I'm just gonna say this. It was completely what I expected, and I loved it. Done.
I played the pre-alpha and the closed alpha too, and back then I already fall in love with the game. So the beta was even better than I thought. Of course, there were some server problems and so on, but just to connect with all the people and build this community, play with my own team in the tournaments, it was just a great experience. All in all, it was just awesome.
Do you have anything else to say?
I'd just like to give a quick shout out, if it's all right, to Cy Frost, who is the team captain of Surge RC, the team that I'm on. I'd just like to tell him that I very much appreciate him believing in me and choosing me over roughly 20 other players, and to just keep believing when I didn't believe in my own ability.
Yes, I hope Roller Champions team and Ubisoft will make everything to promote the game, and the only thing that makes me suspicious is that they are waiting for the community to organize things, but they should do official RC events that will make more hype, and that's all.
I just want to say that I have a lot of fun during the beta, and yeah, I hope this game gets the hype everyone expects. And
as a final statement, can't wait for the release of the game. I plan on being one of the biggest content creators if the game is successful and they allow me to. I think it'll be a token for a lot of people to make a living off of if it's successful. And I know a lot of people are. Can't wait for esports. I really hope to have a huge hand in that. And for anybody that's watching and they want to get into Roller Champions, join the Discord. The community in there is anxiously awaiting the game. And we're all just kind of biding our time until it releases. But once it does release, I think it could be one of the sickest games in this decade. 100%.
Oh, really? Like, I genuinely think Roller Champions on a good path. It's got an amazing community. It's got amazing creators. So far, even the community managers they've got on Roller Champions are really, really good. I think it'll be fine. I just hope I get to play more with you guys.
Eigentlich nicht. Ich hätte mir nur halt vielleicht eine Registrierung besser gewünscht, wie bei Valorant, das was die Twitch-Streamer noch ein bisschen, sag ich mal, pushen kann. Aber ansonsten fand ich das Game eigentlich extrem gut, so wie es ist. Also könnte man eigentlich so rausbringen, außer mit den Punkten halt mehr Maps, Skins und halt Server besser machen, aber das ist halt mal Ubisoft. No front.
I'm very excited when this game coming out, and let's go make this game big, guys. Let's bring it to the market, and then let's bring it to the gamer. Stay fresh.
Just thank you very much for the invite, and hopefully the game releases as soon as possible.
I love you, Jesus. I love you, Jesus.
I mean, I don't think so. Just thanks to the real Jesus for bringing me in for this interview. He's the real OG. Man's dedicated to the grind. Got that, secured the bag. So yeah.
What worked well or bad during the organization of the Roller Champions tournament?
I would say what went pretty smooth was like the organization stuff was pretty nice. The schedule we had, worked pretty fine, but we had one big concern, and that was like that the spectate mode is not working. Because if that like would happen, that the spectate mode is not working, we didn't like really know what we should do. But in the end, that went well as well. So yeah, I would say like almost everything worked pretty well during our tournament.
Well, for us, it was pretty good because there were a couple tournaments before us. There was the IEL that happened on the first weekend, and then Roller Masters, which happened on Friday. So going into our tournament, we kind of had an idea about how to run stuff since we're the third tournament, obviously. Organization-wise, it was pretty good. We had, honestly, we weren't expecting the amount of people that showed up that we thought were going to show up. We honestly thought maybe, would have around 32 teams, 40 teams. We had 64 teams in this thing, and there were people on the wait list. So some people couldn't even play because we had to cap off the tournament, because at some point, if we didn't cap off the tournament, it would keep on adding rounds, and then we just couldn't stream every single round. It would take way too long, and the bracket would be too long, and it would just be like 6 hours like in one day, and we didn't want to keep it that long. We wanted to keep it at 2 to 3 hours per day, and that's what we had. So organization wise, that was kind of the thing that threw a wrench in the system, if you will. We like, honestly, and it's a good problem to have when you have so many teams, because it means that the community is big, and the amount of people that want to play in the esports scene for this game it's a huge number of them. So that's good, and it's a beta as well. Keep in mind, it was a beta. It's not like the full game's out and we're getting 60 teams. It's literally the beta for EU. So to see a turnout like that is really great.
So a lot of things went well during the EU World Champions Cup number 1. As you know, myself and Nax, who's my twin on Twins Reviews, we do some content creation there. Justin, Delay, Riley, Surex, and Leandro put together the EU World Champions Cup number 1, and a lot of things went well. Not very many things went bad. I really respect the team. We had a pretty small team, considered it was like 7 people or something like that. And we, if you watch the video, there wasn't many mishaps. So I was really proud of what we were able to do with the team. For technical difficulties, we were able to run 2 test streams that I believe the other tournaments didn't run. We ran 2 test streams to make sure that everything was working, because we had to make sure our cameras were synced correctly, our audio was going through, the levels were correct, we were getting the game streamed at good quality, because as you know, I am in the United States, Delay is in Germany. We had to figure all of that out. We had to figure out the overlays, the transitions. So we ran a few test streams, and Real Jesus was actually there to play during those test streams. So I thank you a lot for that very much, because we needed some people to play during it so that we can run a good test stream. Personal reasons, we got along with each other very well. All of the people that we work with are super nice. Delay, Surex, Justin, and Riley, and Leandro on the back end. They're really nice people. Everything went well on that front. We didn't really have any unexpected issues or anything like that, because we were prepared. We had a plan B at all times, and we were prepared for things during the test streams. We made sure that we got all of the problems out of the way. So, I mean, there's like minor disconnects, I guess, which, I mean, they're gonna happen. Other than that, really not many bad things happen on that front. As for dropped ideas, we did drop a few ideas to keep the tournament as simplistic as possible for this one. I'm not gonna say what ideas we dropped, but potentially you might see them in some upcoming tournaments, maybe. Who knows?
How much time have you spent for the whole process?
I don't have an exact time, but we had probably like a whole week where we just like daily talked to each other and were like chatting with each other. Okay, what we still need to do and what we have to organize and all that stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't say like I don't know how much time like in hours went into it, but we definitely worked like over a week or something where we like almost daily organized all that stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of time we spent for it, but in the end I think it paid off.
Oh man, let's see. If I were to put it into hours, at least 8 to 10 hours, and maybe even more, because we had this whole thing planned beforehand, and we sent calls and figured out rules and what would work best with Delay, with Max, and with Justin, and we figured all of this stuff out. So that was the first step. What exactly, and then how the tournament's gonna run. Double elimination, how's that gonna happen? What are we gonna stream? How many rounds we're gonna stream? When we're gonna stream? How long the stream should be? And also the test streams also took up a little time, and I know you helped out with that, so thank you very much for that. That really helped us out because it gave us an idea about how long one series is going to go, and that allowed us to create a schedule based on that. And honestly, if I look back at the schedule, we were like pitch perfect on time. We went like 5 minutes over the time, so that's like we were down to the minute on the schedule. And the amount of time we spent organizing this, I think, was good for the tournament overall.
So, Delay actually announced the tournament on Twitter in the very beginning. He announced it on Roller Champions Germany Twitter, and I wasn't part of this at that point. But I reached out to Roller Champions Germany and Delay, who is who owns it, to commentate the tournament because I wanted to be more involved because I'm from the US and obviously can't play the EU beta, so I wanted to be more involved, and we did a few test commentaries, and Delay liked me and Ax's commentary, so we hopped on, and from there we kind of helped Delay put this all together. You know, we kept everyone in check, made sure everything was going to plan, and the whole process took about like a week and a half or even 2 weeks, since it was planned in the very beginning and we were towards the end. So it took like a week and a half or 2 weeks for sure, and we had like meetings that we would sit in calls for like 3 to 4 hours, and we had like 5 of those, 5 maybe 4, I don't even remember, to make sure that everything was going smoothly. So a good amount of time was thrown into it, but definitely worth it.
Did everything go according to the plan?
Yeah, actually, everything went really smooth. We had like no issues or like no problems. Everything went pretty well. The only problem was like that a lot of teams signed up that in the end got disqualified because they didn't attend or like they wasn't there, like, you know, they signed up and then probably forgot about the tournament. I don't know. That was the only like issue we had, that we had to disqualify some teams in the first round. But from then on, pretty much everything went pretty good.
For the most part, in our tournament, yes. I know other tournaments, there are some struggles there. For us, it was pretty good, besides minor issues. Like at one point, one person disconnected. It was in the beginning of the match, so, you know, not a huge issue, just minor stuff. One thing I will say is, I don't know if this is noticeable, but on day one, there was a slight audio delay with the casters. Me and ZMax were commentating this, and it was through Discord that Delay was streaming to us. So the quality of the stream was already terrible. Well, not terrible, but it was pretty bad. It was not as good as like being in the actual game, and we can't be in the actual game because we're NA. So we have to watch Delay, who was controlling the drone, and he did an awesome job with that. I'll probably talk about that later, but he had to share his screen for us, and we were watching it off that Discord and commentating. And that quality is not great. I'll just put it that way. It's not some 1080p quality stream. At times you couldn't even see who had the ball. You had to like really look at it to try to figure out who's that on the ball. And I'm also trying to talk and figure out all the action going on. So it was hard at times. And day one of the tournament was a delay. If you look back at the VOD, you could kind of tell that there's a slight delay with the commentary, my voice, and the gameplay. And that is because delay, I think we figured this out for day 2. Day 2, there was only a small delay, like half a second, maybe even no delay. So it got better in day 2. But I think the problem was he was streaming Discord in way too high quality. And he was also running all this stuff in the background too. So it killed... I honestly don't know how it works, but when he lowered the quality of his Discord stream, it actually got better for us. So yeah, because he was streaming in like some crazy good quality that either probably my PC or his PC couldn't handle. Don't know which one. But we managed to fix the problem for day 2. It's not a giant issue, but it's noticeable if you kind of pay attention.
Yes, everything went according to plan, surprisingly even better than it can be going according to plan. It went super, super well. We built a schedule to keep ourselves in check during the stream. We wanted certain games to happen at certain times, and SmashGG was able to help us with that. That was the platform that we used. And we were hitting consistently the correct times. If you watch the streams or the VODs, day 1 ran 2 hours and 30 minutes, and day 2 ran around 3 hours and 30 minutes, which was exactly how we planned it. Like almost to a T, which was absolutely insane. So only like huge thanks to the team that made it happen.
Are you happy about the reputation and feedback you've earned?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really happy because I heard from a lot of people that they enjoyed our tournament and that the tournament went pretty well, like even from the spectator view. So yeah, it was a lot of work, but I think in the end it really paid off because we got a lot of nice feedback. And yeah, I think we have a good reputation as tournament organizers now because it went so well. Yeah.
Well, so far we've only ran 1 tournament, and we still we'll probably have to do some more events to like gain better reputation and get better known in the scene, especially for me because I'm not a player. I want to be involved in the community, but I don't exactly have the time to be into esports and grinding and all that stuff with teams. So I want to be involved at least as a caster, maybe some other stuff on the side. So for feedback for this tournament overall was pretty good. We had a lot of people giving us props for it. Some people I think the dev team was watching or something. I'm not sure if I'm even allowed to say that, but hopefully they thought it was pretty good. I know the players thought it was pretty good. Overall, it was a great time, and hopefully we can have similar stuff in the future.
I am happy with Euro Champions, how Euro Champions Cup #1 was perceived by the community. As for myself and like individuals, not a lot of people talked about that, I don't think, which is understandable. I mean, it is the tournament, so that's where the reputation and the feedback should be built on. I didn't really see too much talk after the tournament, which is definitely fine, but a lot of people were very happy, the people that I talked to, how it ran, how the players got to play, and it went super smoothly with SmashGG. Overall, I think the reputation was worth it, the feedback was worth it, and if anyone has any more feedback or things they want to talk about, please do reach out to any of the organizers, myself included, and we'll be happy to talk to you about it, and hopefully better the next one.
Would you do something better next time?
Good question. I don't really know if we should do something that much better. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the game should change some points in the custom games, but I think how we managed everything, how we organized it, how we scheduled it was nearly perfect. Yeah, maybe we could do another format, like bigger brackets, more teams, or like a different style of format, because we had a double elimination, 64 teams. So that's probably the only thing I can imagine of changing.
Something better next time? Yeah, I think well, first things first, I think once the game comes out, we'll actually be able to be in the game casting it. We won't have to do like the Discord call thing. I think maybe we could incorporate some sort of player interviews with people. We didn't exactly have a lot of time for it. Plus, I need to get to know the players as they are a little bit more right now. Like I know a lot of people in the community. I know how they are. I know how they play. I've watched a lot of streams and stuff, but I need to get to know them as people and how good they are interviews, because I know at times interviews could be awkward if people aren't exactly the interview type or something goes wrong or whatever. So, but yeah, we'd like to incorporate maybe some interviews in the future, maybe something better for the stream overall. We'll have to give that some thought, but definitely we'll try to step up our game in one way or another.
There's always things to do better, like commentary, like the flow of the stream, shorter waiting times. There's always things to do better, but when a stream goes as you plan, it's hard to point out something that you can do better because everything went well from at least from things that we could do or we were in the power of. So there's always obviously things that we can do better, make it more interesting, toss in some things during breaks, you know, things that will probably happen towards next tournament, so that we get more experience under the belt and things along those lines. But definitely there's ways to improve it for sure.
What was the most disturbing thing during the whole tournament and preparation?
Yeah, the most disturbing thing was probably the people that didn't read rules, and yeah, like didn't read any info. So we posted so many rules, we posted so much information about the tournament, and some people, while we hosted the tournament, so while we were live, so many people were like DMing me or like pinging ZMax, Nex. Yeah, what do we have to do now? Our enemies are not showing. That is not working. That is not working. Like, we had people that should help in that situation. So we had admins that helped in this situation, but a lot of people just DM'd me or DM'd ZMax and Nex, and we couldn't do anything about it while we were live. So that was kind of disturbing. And yeah, we had the one issue we had before the tournament was just we just constantly thought about the spectator mode not working. Because if that was the case, the tournament wouldn't went so well. But in the end, we had no problems with that. So at least that worked. Yeah. So the only disturbing thing in the end was some people that didn't read the rules and didn't read any information at all. But that's always the case with a tournament like this.
I think that I'm not the only one who's going to say this, but the spectating, we were very iffy on that. We were like, will it work? Will it not work? And I was the one who said this originally to delay. I was like, prepare for it to not work. We have to prepare for the worst. When it comes to planning any sort of event, any organization, anything at all, you have to prepare yourself for the worst. And treat things, if things happen better than you expected, treat that as, as something that you weren't ready for. And that's a good thing, because it's going to be a good surprise. And you'd rather have a good surprise than a bad surprise. So if you prepare yourself for the worst, and the way we did that was we thought we would have team captain roles in the Discord, and those people would be the ones we would contact if we wanted to watch the stream. And because, if the spectator wasn't going to work, we'd have them stream their gameplay and we would cast over, kind of like IEL did on their thing. So yeah, there's that. So that was the main thing. Thankfully, they fixed that. Huge props to the dev team. They pulled through, and it just made the whole thing smoother and just run nicer. And also, this is something that a lot of people don't think about, but the fact that they fixed that and we were able to have a full production tournament is not just great for the players and the community, but it's also great for people who don't know about anything about the game. It's good for sponsors. If sponsors look at this and they'll see, oh wow, this is very well run. This has potential to be a big esport. If they see that, that's exactly, and that's kind of the thing that I focused on. We want to bring in big sponsors, big money, and these kind of companies to sponsor events in the future, because if we do that, then we could have big prize pools. This could be a huge scene. Just imagine like lands, huge prize pools. Imagine that. That would be so cool. I think all the players would want that, and that's really the end goal of this whole thing. I don't know how it's gonna pan out in the future. I'm hopeful. I think that this game has a lot of potential when it comes to esports, and the fact that we're able to put on this full production of a tournament without any outside help. It was literally just people from the community who were involved, and it was literally Delay's money. It wasn't like some sponsor was giving us money for it. So it was all by the people, for the people, and the fact that we were able to do that, I think, proves that there is a good future for sponsors to throw their money in and have bigger and better events.
There was a few things that I want to mention. Firstly, we wanted to make sure that only EU players played this tournament and not NA players. Obviously, it's an EU-only beta, so EU-only tournament. So we had to keep that from happening, which was fine. There wasn't many problems there, but something to keep in mind. Then there was also the fact that we had 64 teams and not a lot of people took it too seriously. Well, a lot of people did take it seriously, but then there's, you know, some teams that don't take it too seriously that have to back out, and it's always a little stressful to, you know, have people go on Smash GG and not know how to use it. So thankfully everything went pretty well on that front, and our backend team was doing a great job at solving issues on our Discord. But that is always something stressful towards the beginning, the first 2 rounds, a little bit difficult when you have a lot of teams and some people don't know how to use the system. Also, obviously one of the biggest ones was the fact that the spectating system wasn't working in the beginning, but thankfully to the development team, they fixed it. We were constantly reaching out to them like, is this going to get fixed? Is it going to get fixed? And yes, they fixed it, so thank you so much for that. We were able to run a really, really good tournament because of that.
Is something planned for the future?
Well, I mean, the Discord is still there. And we might do something similar in the future. Maybe a second part of the EU Cup, or maybe, I don't know, a sequel. From my point of view, I can say we maybe have planned a leak, a leak in the background, but I don't want to give away too much now. But I'm pretty sure we will host a tournament or two when the game releases pretty soon.
Is something planned for the future? Yeah. You know what? I don't know how much I can exactly say, but let's just say something is planned for the future, and we're really excited. Hopefully, the game comes out soon. I don't know exactly when it's gonna come out. I just want the game out. Then we can exactly specify on the details. But yeah, first step is to get the game out. Hopefully it's soon. Hopefully it's this year. Hopefully they don't make us wait too long. But future, there will be good things. I'll say that.
So, there isn't anything that we are working at the moment, I'm gonna be honest, because we don't have a release date. However, if you notice in the name, Euro Champions Cup #1, so there's bound to be a #2. So, obviously that is in the plans for the future. Also, NA players, don't sleep, keep your eyes open. There's definitely going to be something happening for NA. So don't think that we left you in the dust, because I'm NA myself. So, just, keep your eyes out on Twitter or on YouTube. So yeah, definitely for that, keep your eyes open.
Thanks for skipping to the end. No, just kidding. For everyone who made it to this point, thank you very, very much for watching this video. I think we all learned a lot about Roller Champions, about the closed beta, about the thoughts, about the expectations for the final game. Yeah. So I think there's nothing more to say right now. We will see us in the next project on this channel. Bye bye.